Guys, thank you for joining. I'm super excited. I was supposed to have a guest. I am going to have a guest next week. I'm not going to tell you who it's going to be because then I get like, I go from 15 to 20 people to 40 people. So I'm not going to start telling you guys who they are. So we were laughing about that. And so I will tell you, and I'll give you a hint. We have a guest today who is what I'm going to do is what I want to do tonight is I'm going to ask, I springed it on Kelli like 20 minutes ago because my guest that was supposed to be on had an unexpected guest coming out of town. And we know that happens, right? Sometimes that just happens, right? I spring myself on Kelli all the time to come to her house, but I'm always invited. So, so I have been really close with Kelli, with Dr. Kelli and Dr. Arthur Lupsha for, wow, probably since they've been involved in Lifevantage, like way back. Just way back in the very beginning. And they're just one of those people that you can actually say are your close friends. We have acquaintances in the business, and when we have close friends, like I laugh. Her and Arthur sent me the funniest birthday messages, and Lisa and I both laughed. And guys, I have actually had, and I don't say this to like say like look at me or look at us, but I just say that reaching out and building relationships with people is probably the most important thing in this business. And it's funny that it's Kelli that I got to have on, because after I'm done talking about this, I put together this really awesome talk about how to build relationships online. And I'm just going to tell you this. Since I started doing this, the last 4 months, as you guys know, Lifevantage has had their 4 best months in company history. I just heard that this month is going to beat last month, and we still have another day left, right? So Kelli and I were talking before we came on. Kelli was at the chiropractor, and I always see her. She's a true biohacker. So she's like me, like, you know, we have an infrared sauna. We do all the things that thing. And so I started to follow a lot of the things that a lot of the people who are building online do. And in the last 4 months, on an average, I've signed up 10 to 15 customers and 2 distributors every month for the last 4 months. And why? Because I believe it's about those relationships. And so Kelli was just talking about, you know, her chiropractor. My chiropractor just said this to me. He just hired somebody to come in to work for him. He's eventually going to be slowing things down. And and Kelli can tell you this too. It's all about timing. You know, what the work that Kelli and Arthur do, very few people in the entire world do what they do. Or even understand it, yeah. Right? They work with traumatic stroke and brain injury patients. They have been lifesavers to me and Lisa and our family. Lisa's father struggles with Parkinson's. It's better. He's getting better. He's not regressing. He's not getting overly better, but he's not getting worse, which Kelli can tell you is the most important thing when it comes to your health. My mom had a fall last year. And the first person I called was Kelli and Arthur. And I said, hey, you know what we do? They wrote out this long protocol that I would say my mom now is finally, it's only taken a year for her to kind of figure this out, but now she's kind of following it. She told me the other day, she said, I'm 95% following it. And when you do that, Kelli can tell you, if you just get the little bitty pieces right? And it's really funny. As I've watched them progress through this, and guys, let's just say this, there is no doubt that Arthur and Kelli will be elite distributors, hopefully this year, which I'm believing for them. And I know she's smiling because I can see her smiling, and they're bringing in the right people. And sometimes when you go through this business, Lisa and I've talked about it, we have created some really amazing new people in this business to go along with the people who we believe will be a part. I believe that everybody that's watching tonight can be a part of this company being $1 billion company, right? And so I want Kelli to share with you her story, because I know what's most important to us is, and Kelli, I'll preface this before you do this. the last couple weeks, I had Joanne Shear-Parkin, I had Dr. Neil Goodman last week, and both of them told stories that after they were done, no pressure, Kelly, that they had never told before. They both texted me and said, I can't believe I shared that, and how, and Joanne's moved me and Lisa in a way that we thought we knew Joanne really, really well. But when she shared, and if you guys haven't listened, I will say this. I finally downloaded Dr. Goodman's call. I will give it to you guys on one condition, that you do not share it with anyone else that will post it. If they post it, I'm in trouble. And that means you're in trouble, okay?
Yeah.
So some of the things that he said, and I've been carrying on conversations with him since last week about things, and Kelly knows there's things that she would like to say, and there's things that I would like to say that maybe we'll never be able to say, but we can use that in conversation with people to let people, encourage people, and let people know really the magnitude of what we're doing. I mean, I can promise you this. Kelly and Arthur and I have sit and laughed about this. We never thought we would be doing what we're doing, right? We just didn't think that. So I want to welcome my friend, my really good friend, and someone that I have a lot of respect for, that has always just been who she says she is from the first day I met her. And so I'm honored that you rushed over from the chiropractor and jumped on to save me, so to speak.
Oh my
Kelli
God. And
Lupsha.
I'm gonna let you guys say a quick hello. Arthur just
Yay!
Hey buddy.
I love you, man. How you doing?
Love you guys. Good
How
to
you
see
doing, man?
And
Good.
You know,
Doing well.
you guys, Arthur's story and my story, believe it, is we have very different stories. And even though we as a couple,
before you go, Kel, before you go, I have to do this. This is so funny. I have to share this. I saw this on Facebook, and since you guys sent me these really funny pictures, I have to share this picture of Arthur on your wedding night. I mean, this is just crucial.
Yeah.
Like, look at that guy right there. And hey, you guys want to look at something? Look at that. How long ago is that, Kelly and Arthur?
12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Okay, look at them now.
Yeah.
They look the same. Are you kidding me? Like,
Isn't
they
that
haven't
wild?
aged. It's crazy. So I almost forgot that, and I was going to be like, I'd get to the end, I'd be like, dang it, I forgot that. But you guys look amazing, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I love you both. So, Kel, you can go ahead and.
I thought you were going to share my birthday video with the team.
Oh, no, that was awesome. I hysterically laughing, like hysterically. So that was awesome.
Well, you know what? Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Oh my gosh, Lisa, all in this time of COVID are missing relationships and rapport. But when you have deeper connections with people like this, it just brightens your day all the time, no matter what. And so I used to always tell my team, we're not going to conferences right now, but when they would go, meet people, build rapport with people. There's going to be people who you like, and there's going to be people who you love, and there's going to be people who are your tribe, who beyond our team, you'll be friends with and will help you in your life forever. But find them. They're invaluable. So I would encourage each and every one of you guys to do so beyond your team, because there is just some of the most amazing people in Lifevantage that you're going to ever find. So I will tell you my story. And I'm going to give you 2 quick versions, and I'm going to give you the real version today.
Yeah,
okay?
I love it. We're going to get raw. Kelly, you know what's funny that you say that? Today I had a guy on my podcast, and he said that you have to say that you're hot. So it's humble, and I'll remember it later, but it has to do with 3 letters, being humble and teachable, right? And moldable and kind of, so yeah, so you got it. So this is going to be hot. I can feel it.
So in the beginning, when Arthur and I started this business 6.5 years ago, we ultimately thought these products were amazing. It could help our family. It could help our patients. And if we could make a little money on the side, fantastic. And we didn't really have that much of a story, other than our big story was Arthur wouldn't listen to Michael Epstein for 2 years. He just thought, like, I don't want to sell pills or do network marketing, so leave me alone. I found this on a whole different avenue, still through Michael Epstein. I went to Michael and said, I want to know what you're doing because I've been training for half
Thank
Ironman.
God for our wives, Arthur. Thank God
Right?
for our
Yeah, no
wives.
kidding. No
Got
kidding. Thank God there's one
arms
smart one in
wide
the
open,
family.
the other one going, stay away.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah.
And the first part of the story really was of how we got involved is, with Arthur and I being a blended family, we had gone through some financial trouble. We work really, really hard. I've never been afraid of hard work. I've run hospitals, worked 80 to 100 hours a week. We have now our own practice. We've traveled. And so what I came to Arthur in the first time is I said, listen, this could be something to help us and our family, or our patients. So why should we turn away and not just take a look at what this is? But also we have had hardships. And so maybe financially we should take a look at this, because right now we just sort of surviving off of quote one income, right? A family income, but an income that we are a shared business and we don't have two separate businesses. We have one business together. And so I said, listen, this may or may not be for us, but let's take a look. That's what definitely made Arthur's just sit back and say, I can't argue with that. Fine.
That's how we do it. We can always listen, right? We can always listen.
The logic was sound. I mean,
Big ears.
We did the work. Early on, we thought we were doing the work, but I will 100% admit we were not coachable, because we thought as physical therapists and running our own practice, and I also have my master's in business, that I didn't need somebody else to teach me and coach me. I'll just talk to people. This business, how hard can this business be? So we worked ourselves up to the level of, Pro 3 quickly, Pro 4, and then even to Pro 5. And that's really when our story changed and the second aha moment came. Because ultimately, even though we hit 5, not too long, a business really crumbled and we had to rebuild 5. And we knew then we needed to be teachable. We needed to be coachable. We needed to do something different. But the other thing when I say our story changed is, even though as a mom, I'd always loved working hard and wanted to do my own thing, I never had the flexibility that I saw other moms in my neighborhood and area have. I had to be at work. I had to be treating patients. And, secretly in the back of my mind, I was always like, well, it would be nice to kind of be the classroom mom. Well, it would be nice kind of to be able to do this and spend some more time with my children, because everybody else had time with my children, but not me. And it really hit me smack in the face when I'm at work one day. I get a call. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Michael Epstein. Michael Epstein is calling. How funny is that? So I get a call from our youngest daughter, and she says, I'm not feeling well. I think you need to pick me up from school. And I was like, she's my tough kid. I'm like, okay, just go to the nurse's office and wait, no problem.
She is really tough.
And I was just concerned about finishing up my patient that I had in my hands. And I had another patient coming and coordinating with Arthur, like, hey, you help me set this patient up? I'll be back. I apologize, you guys, for cutting out. We're trying to text him saying, stop calling us. So I was more concerned with my patients at work and then I would run home, get her situated, run back. She was only 10 at the time, but she was my tough kid. She could be home by herself for a few hours. I can go back to the office, no problem. So I head up to school and I'm literally not even thinking about her. I'm just thinking I don't know. She just doesn't feel good. Fine. I walk into the nurse's office and I look at her, and those of you that have children out there, you'll feel me when she doesn't even recognize me as mom. She has this glassy look over her face. She cannot speak. It looks like she's about to have a seizure, and she's just staring at me. And all of a sudden, I'm like, dear God, something is seriously wrong right now. The nurse is like, is this normal? I'm like, call 911 right now. My daughter is having a seizure. She has a brain tumor. She's like, this is something neurologic. She can't even talk. She's drooling now. It was a mess. So, I don't even know. Next thing I know, we're in the ambulance heading to the hospital. She's having tests run. By the time the ambulance come, now she's violently vomiting and everything. And I'm like, what in the world just happened? I wasn't even concerned about my daughter's health. I was concerned about my work and my patients. So this big aha for me of my second why was I financially had Lifevantage as this beautiful vehicle and gift in front of me to build for the past couple of years. And I had not been building it seriously. I still was using my brick and mortar working because that's what I knew worked. And that's what I knew I was good at. And that's what I knew I could make money at. But I could only keep making that money if I was there. And I thought, oh my, we see kids that have had horrible events, traumatic brain injuries, that has devastated families. Families can't go back to work anymore. Now something's happening to my child. What if I can't go back to work? How am I going to pay our bills? What am I going to do? I was so in overwhelm. And I finally realized coming out of that, she ended up okay, believe it or not. It's everyone always wants to know the end of the story. She had severe migraines that were causing these auras that were giving her this impression like she was having a stroke or something like that, but it was actually migraine behavior.
Thank God.
So she's okay now. However, that was my next big why. Like, I don't want to have to be stuck working. Why didn't I build this sooner? I want the option to be with my kids when I want to. Not that I have to be all the time. They're growing up. They don't need me as much. But I want that option to be able to be there and be a present mom. And so I was really building it to, work in the clinic part-time and do stuff when the kids part-time, just be able to have that and be more connected with the children before they go. So today our kids are 15, 18, and 22. And my real why has just changed because when COVID hit us on March 17th, never in my wildest dreams did I ever thought our income could go to zero by the next moment I woke up that next morning. And even though physical therapy is essential, all of our patients needed to stay home and wanted to stay home. Yeah. And so there was like gone with no end in sight. So now what? And what I shared with Arthur, as I said, the world has been changing and we've just not been paying attention. It's been changing so fast and we've been stuck in our old, not our mindset, but just in the day-to-day work. So I haven't even allowed myself the privilege to grow as a person, to change into this next evolution of who I need to become, to grow Lifevantage, to grow our brand. I realized I had so much knowledge that I could pivot and shift and do so many other things. And not that I was scared to do that. I used to always say like, oh, I don't quite have enough time because of the clinic and this and that. But I just told Arthur, you know what? I never want to be put in this financial situation ever again. I thought I took control. We took control of our finances, owning our own business. Now I know that does not put us in control. No. And the only way to put us in control is if I can build something that's, quote, foolproof. And honestly, Lifevantage is that. There are other things that we can build and we want to have multiple streams of income because as a smart consumer educator people in the world today, we all need to have multiple entrepreneur. We all need to have multiple streams of income. But Lifevantage was like, there's no downside. There's no downturn. Here we are in a time where everybody is looking to build from home, have an online presence, have something that can help other people. I mean, everyone for the most part, deep down inside wants to help people, right? Help them with their health, help them with their finances, help them with their relationships, help them. We, by human beings, want to help people, but we have something that can help people at a level like no other. And even though you guys, you've heard probably every single speaker and every single guest say this, it's really the truth. And early on, Arthur and I thought we could save people, the people that needed it. We would make them see it. And we spent hundreds of hours spinning our wheels on all those people that needed this. And now I realize, guess who needs this? We need this. We need this. I don't need to worry. Not that I don't think of others. I 100% do. But I can help others who want to be helped. We can help people that want to be helped to create this massive impact in the world. And we are all holding ourselves back, the world back, Lifevantage back, by not sharing with those wanting to share this and wanting to make a change. So my why today, you guys, is so big. And to help me really transition and get there, Arthur and I have really, in this last year, done some amazing coaching inside and outside of Lifevantage ourselves, spent lots of money, like, you know, David and Lisa have, to truly improve ourselves. And now we're on our next journey. We're actually bringing a lot of our team, studying Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, with really looking at, you know, not only, I think what we hear a lot from stage or other people of manifesting and having gratitude, but really connecting the mind and the body and believing we have it, and a whole nother level, taking the whole next level of this abundant world into this universe and putting it out there. And I believe that we all have that in us. I wasn't ready to see that several years ago. And I wasn't even ready to see that probably a year ago. But as a leader, we hear, grow, become the leader that you would want to follow.
Yep.
And, or your team is only going to be as big as you are, or the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, or, right? Like, what do you want to hear? But I knew that this next evolution to make a huge shift for us was not only needed, but we were so welcoming it. It was so welcome in our lives and ready, like never before. And so I, you know, just now have a passion to share with others that have been sitting on the fence, sitting around, starting this business, that every coach, every book, everything isn't going to be for you. But the only way you know that is to go through, watch videos of hundreds of people, read hundreds of books, because you have to do that to find those people that inspire you, honestly.
Wow.
Truly.
Well, I want to say that as your friend, that you're two of my favorite people in the world, by the way. And wow, Kelly, I've been sitting here holding this back the whole entire time, like crying and holding it back, because I just see a difference in you. Like, you know, that when you see a person, what they go through and how things change, their demeanor changes, their personality changes, how they talk changes, their skin looks better. They presude excellence when they talk. You know, Arthur and we've had one conversation, we've had 100 about wanting this for people more than they want it for themselves, and how stupid we've been, and, you know, and actually how it's not maintained the integrity of relationships that we really wanted. And then it made them relationships unhealthy. And it was mostly my fault. Right. And so I want to commend you and just say that we had tons of these conversations on the couch at your house. I remember one we had in the front living room. We were talking about stuff that we had been doing to invest in ourselves. And Kelly's like, I really wish I just had the time to do all that. And then, you know what? You have not, because you asked not. And so now Kelly has taken the time to not look at her circumstance, but to advance. Just like life, it's not a coincidence that Lifevantage has had their 3 or 4 best months in a row, right? Because of people like Kelly, because of people like Arthur that have said, and us that have said, hey, look, no matter what, there should never be a comfortability thought process or mindset when it comes to this, because it's a gift. Kelly said it's a gift. So, hey, Arthur, you want to share anything?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know how I could follow that up right
now. Dude,
I'm
about to just like stop the recording and Kelly, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you as your friend. I don't watch a lot of people on Facebook. Okay. I just don't. You guys know that I pretty much got rid of everybody from Lifevantage on Facebook. And it was really funny. I'll tell you what really clicked for me on that process, Kelly and Arthur, was Rich Scott has been one of my closest friends in this business from day one. I knew him when he sold his spot, when he got to Pro 5, sold it, came back and ran to Pro 6 again, right? And we were very friends. And he said, hey, he sent me this message on Marco Polo. And I was like, dang, I wonder why I haven't heard from him. And he goes, oh, but as soon as I said that, he said, oh, by the way, we haven't been friends on Facebook for like the last 8 months. I was like, he's like, nothing personal, but he said, you're still one of my best friends in the world. I still love you. He said, but I needed to retrain my mind to think like a professional instead of thinking like an amateur. Right. And it's really funny today. I've obviously built a brand, as you guys know, and you guys are doing that too. But I met with a guy today who made millions in network marketing and now teaches network marketers how to expand their brand, expand their courses, do all this stuff. And so there's a good chance that I'm going to be coming to California in a couple weeks, maybe, to see you guys and spend some time with Adam. I'll know in the next couple of days what that's going to look like. But thank you guys. You sure, Arthur, you don't want to say anything?
You know what? I could just like echo all the things Kelly just said. I mean, truly, we have something very, very, very special here with Lifevantage. And the more we see with what's going around the world today, not only from a health perspective, obviously that's the forefront of so many people's minds, but from an economic standpoint, the only way we're going to get this company to the place it needs to be, the only way we are all going to get to the place where we want to be, is to get out there, open our mouths, and share. And we just have to do it more. And the more we can do it, the bigger we'll all grow, and the bigger Lifevantage will grow, because this deserves to be, $1 billion a year company. This
100%.
deserves to be a legacy company.
100%.
And it will be. It's just a question of how long do we want to take to get there? Do we want to take 10 more years, or do we want to do it in 2?
Yeah. And let me just add. Go ahead.
No, I was going to add, and you can add, and maybe you can share with this after you're done adding, Kelly. I watched an amazing video today on the virtual convention coming up, and Charisse was on there, and some other people. It was really inspiring, to be honest with you. It had people from all around the world saying, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it's pretty funny, and it's inspiring. So maybe after you add, Kel, maybe one of you guys can talk about the importance of. A lot of people don't want to be on a virtual thing because it's they think, oh, it's beneath me, or I don't want to spend that money because I mean they're going to give you back more in a gift than you're going to pay. Plus we did an event a couple months ago. Building Depth did a 2-day event, and it was one of the best virtual events I've ever been a part of in my entire life. We had 36 elites presenting for 2 days, and so I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. I'm kind of glad that, that we have the availability to still have something that connects us and inspires us and encourages. So yeah, go ahead, Kels, share.
Perfect. And a couple of people in the chat, I think, are asking if they can ask questions. And yes, absolutely. If it's to us, we're always happy to answer. This actually kind of goes along with it, because what I was going to say is the whole thing of plugging in, and where this comes from is, Arthur and I have been fortunate that as things have happened in our lives, there's sometimes we don't have the emotional, psychological bandwidth to stay to do this job and this job and this job, or whatever that may be. And Lifevantage is probably one of your guys' jobs that you do. And so a little over a year ago, Arthur's mom had passed away, and Arthur was at a place that he had no bandwidth for this. And I'm just being really honest. Yeah. But he had me. None. So we kept moving forward. But if you don't have, and I'm going to say not even a supportive spouse, but if you don't have a spouse building with you, it is critical that you have a accountability partner, that you come to these meetings every month, what day is today? Thursday, that you have whatever it is. Do not let yourself stop those 2 or 3 or 4 things that you do no matter what, because the do no matter what will allow you to get through whatever you need to get through and jump right back in. Because if you don't, and you just say, you know what, this is going in my life, so I'm gonna have to put it on the side. the side will never come back out again. So it's normal. We've gone through many things in this past 6.5 years during building. It's normal and expected. So embrace it, and that's okay. And your growth during those times, even in Lifevantage, for you to be able to dig deep and still do something while you're suffering, that's what makes you so human, and that's what makes you authentic, and that's what makes you you, because you're still sharing even when times are hard, still sharing even when you've been psychologically scarred, still sharing when something tragic has happened in your life. That's okay, and you don't have to be that perfect person. So enrolling into convention, we just spoke about that this week with our team, is I would say go look at every single distributor you have ever enrolled, because some distributors that never really did anything, or they've been gone for a while, it's really tough to get them to fly across the country to a convention. However, when they don't have to go anywhere, and you can tell them that they're going to get more back as a gift than even what they have to invest, so don't worry about it, that they can, for 2 days, have a 30-day access to all these people. And we're having speakers from around the world come in and pour. Even if it's not Lifevantage, it's going to elevate your game at such a level. You're going to walk away from it as a better person because of these 2 days.
100%.
Guys, look, for the first 9 months that Kelly and I were part of this company, we didn't go to a single event. Our lives had been scheduled out for the year. We were teaching nationally and internationally. We were traveling every other weekend.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And so finally, in October of our first year, after we joined in February, the event was right here in Long Beach, California. On a weekend, we weren't going anywhere.
That was my first speaking event. That's how I met you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I have no excuses now. I guess we need to go. And honestly, I will readily admit I took 2 steps into the door and wanted to turn around and walk right back out. It was like, I'm not sure I want to do this. But by the end of the weekend, I realized why the events were so important. It was 2 or 3 events later that Kelly and I had to make the choice, because we had a half Ironman event that we did every single year for our anniversary.
This time of the year. We
Right.
just had our anniversary last weekend.
Yeah.
And
I know.
The Lifevantage event was in Kansas City. And we could either be in Kansas City at Lifevantage, or we could be in Northern California sweating our butts off.
I'm dying.
And we'd already paid for the event. We'd already booked our rooms. We'd already paid for the event. Some of the money was non-refundable. But we looked at each other.
And with really good friends.
Yeah.
And we did this with a bunch of good friends. Wow.
We looked at each other. We simply said, what would a Pro 10 do? Pro 10 would be at the event. The Pro 10 would pass on the triathlon. So we did. We passed on the triathlon, and we've never missed an event since.
Wow.
You guys, Arthur, you guys remember how hot it was in Kansas City at that event?
Oh my God. So hot.
Hey, I always say this: if there was hell, it was at that event when we had that, and it was really funny. I don't know if you remember this, but it's funny you brought that one up, because I remember asking you guys what you were doing there, because I had talked to Arthur like a week or 2 prior to that, and he's like, we're not going to be there. A couple weeks before, he's like, we got this triathlon that we do all the time. It's not going to happen. And I saw him. I was like, what are you guys doing here?
What are you doing?
And it was really funny. One of my distributors was the Hero, the Lifevantage Hero. He got shot. A bullet was lodged in his head. And I just spoke to him the other day. His father passed away, and he's ready to get back involved. So it's funny, Kelly said, you never give up on people. You just keep encouraging them. People go through traumatic things in their life. He just graduated from PA school. Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
good
And
for
now
him.
he's like, I was taking care of my dad. I was working 2 jobs and going to school. Guys know what that's like. And guys, just so you know, I say this, and if anybody has a question, I'm gonna let them let you guys ask a question. And I found out what the hot was, Kelly. It's honest, open, and transparent. Honest, open, transparent. And so, and guys, they have downplayed this. They built in the process of this, of COVID, right before COVID started. I was out there with them not too long before that. and they built a whole wing on their house, and Arthur moved his father into their home. So if you want to talk about more stuff added to their plate, and then they had graduations and things that didn't happen, and new knee surgeries. I mean, like it was like one thing after another. But here's what I want to say, and then if anybody has a question, I want to encourage you guys, is that in life we have the availability to either face the storm or run from it, right? And my friend Tim, who is a Lifevantage distributor who we just signed up, who I worked with yesterday, and he's ready to launch his business too. He said, you know, any other animal like a cow or a horse, when there's a storm coming, they run the opposite direction from the storm, away from the storm. But a buffalo runs into the storm, like faces it. And so I just wanted to say, you guys are in my mind, you guys are buffaloes. You guys are people who actually face the storms of life, and you don't look back. And that inspires me. I'm superly inspired by your servanthood. I'm inspired by just who you guys are as friends and as leaders. So I love you both, and thank you so much for being our friend. So guys, does anybody have a quick question for my friends? Maybe somebody did. Tracy, did you have one or no? I think Tracy did. Does anybody else have a question?
I had a question, and I want to say bless you for doing the work you do, because I have multiple sclerosis, and when I was down in Muzzleland, I was seeing well, you probably can't hear me. I was seeing a massage therapist down there, and it helped me a lot. And then when we got forced to come back to Canada because of COVID, I couldn't go see my chiropractor. COVID. But COVID. What I wanted,
and that's the French COVID.
COVID. and down in Motherland at the time, there was only like 6 or 7 people, and up in Canada there was like 1,000.
Wow.
In BC.
And they made you go back to Canada, right?
Yeah. And now I've been in my house for like 4 months, except for going to the hospital for shit. But
that's anyway. All right. But so go ahead. Did you have a question?
I kind of have a question to you elites. I know that we've already discussed that they've already put the new launch guide down there. Michael, you said there's going to be a presentation.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. I will talk about that, because it's going to happen. And Arthur and Kelly, I don't know if you knew that, but on the elite call last week, there's going to be a training coming out the first week of August on the new launch guide. That's going to teach us how to do the app and the launch guide. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but if you haven't, now I'm just going to say this, you're going to want to pick and choose the slides that you use out of the new slide, because I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's 79 slides on there. I think if I listened to somebody talk over 79 slides, I would be like leaning on Lisa's shoulder. But I know some of the people that have been doing it have cut it down a little bit. But guys, it's beautiful. I think you probably could go through all of those slides just because of the way they're set up. I think you probably could do it in 40 or 45 minutes, you know, because we like to do 30 to 45 minutes if we're going to do it. But guys, if you haven't been to your playbook, and they just put the playbook on the app for you guys, it just went live today, I think.
Oh, wow.
I got an email today from Frank.
Canada too?
I'm not sure. You'll have to just look. But one of the things that's really good about that is that they put this slide presentation in the app. So if you want to download it to your phone and you have PowerPoint, you can do that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So does anybody else have a quick question?
Kelly was about to say something.
No, go ahead, Kel.
And if somebody's popping up with their next question, that slide deck, everybody, I actually used it already. I pulled it out.
How long did it take you?
So it looks like it's a lot of slides, but they like 4 of them are one slide.
Okay.
So the next words keep popping. So it's really just one slide. It looks long. Actually, I just like Sarah Harding, she did it in like start 26. To finish. It was 26 until you cut the beginnings out. Yeah. But I did the whole thing the other day for a new person's launch in 25 minutes.
Praise the Lord.
Sweet.
I'm in. Sign me up.
But you have to know what slide's coming,
of course,
so that your words are really ready to go.
So
I love
was
that.
sorry, was that on your computer or was that on your phone?
Did you do it on the computer or on the phone, Cal?
I did it on the computer.
Okay. All right. And if you need them, and I'm just going to say this, so you guys in Canada don't need to, please don't respond. It's okay. Laura Lee said she does that presentation with a couple of the building depth slides in there because she really likes the way the flow that it is. And so do I. But she said she did it in 29 minutes. And she used the US thing, and she talked about the difference in the pay in Canada because it's very similar. I don't think a person really needs to go into, if you don't have it in Canadian yet, you use what you got. Okay. With Stacy and I've been talking about for a while, you take advantage of it and you say, hey, look, we have a little bit of a different exchange rate, but the process of what we're doing is very similar and the same. And guys, Laura Lee said it to me just yesterday. She's like, I have a Canadian presentation, but it's really an American presentation. I was like, okay, guess you don't, because I've dug deep in. I have a guy that I believe is getting ready to come on board from Canada, and he's a really high level influencer. He actually came out of Teen Challenge, which is a very special ministry for several of my friends. Patty Palka's son, who passed away 2 years ago, came out of Teen Challenge, and a lot of people. Does anybody else have a question or a comment before we go?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, Kelly and Arthur. Thank you for giving some time tonight. It's great. Yeah, my question is, you guys did this Ironman event every year for your anniversary, correct? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Who was the winner? Who had the fastest time? Was it you, Kelly, or you, Arthur?
That is the most important, right?
Okay. So here's the interesting part. Okay. So I'm not a runner. I'm not. No,
Arthur hates to run, by the way. Kelly loves to run. Arthur hates to run.
So the half Ironman was truly a women's only event. So I was doing the full aqua bike for the first couple of years. So I had the 2.4 swim and the 112 bike ride, but no run. I did the swim, bike, done. Whereas Kelly had a true half Ironman of a 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and then a 13.1 mile run. Now, the last year we did it, I did the half aqua bike. And so we said, okay, based on the fact that Kelly's starting ahead of me, and she's faster than me on the swim, she's faster than me on transition, but I'm faster than her on the bike ride. At what mile marker of the bike ride, based on my average speed and her average speed on the bike, will I catch her?
It was an SAT question.
Okay. So
Arthur's
I'm
the
saying
numbers
Kelly
guy.
wins because she did all three. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. So sitting at dinner the night before, we calculated that it should be right about mile 40. And sure enough, at like mile 39.6, I look up and there's Kelly in front of me. And I was going to try to run the half with her afterwards. But I tell you, I was so fried trying to catch her on the bike ride that even though I beat her on the bike ride, there was no way on God's green earth that I could have even kept up with her on the run.
I'm transitioning.
Wins.
Yeah, I'm transitioning, putting my shoes on, like getting ready to run. And I see him and he's not ready. And I'm like, he's like,
what are you doing, Arthur?
Yeah.
I'm like, I still got 13 miles to
stick
run.
a fork in me, I'm done.
Kelly, have you done the full Ironman or no?
I've never done a full.
Well,
yeah,
let me just say this. To even do the half,
that's amazing.
I'll say this. I trained a guy who had 3 back surgeries. Okay, if you guys go, you'll see him on my website. If you go to my website, his name is Larry Witt. He was a great athlete. He had 2 back surgeries. He bloomed up to 260 pounds. I got him down to 205 pounds. And he's like, I'm going to do an Ironman. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. He said, my goal is to break 12 hours. Okay. And 12 hours is for a 200 and some pound man is huffing it, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he said, I'm going to do 8 months of training. Okay. So he's going to train for 8 months. He's set one up. And he did the one up in Pensacola, up in the Panhandle, up in Florida, right? Which I heard is one of the tougher ones, right? And so I took that whole day off on Saturday, and you can watch online if you punch in their number, and it'll tell you like where they're at. And I remember talking to Lisa about this. I was like, I said, he's going to break 12 minutes. He's going to break 12 hours. And then I started doing the calculations and I said, he's going to break 11 hours. And then I was like, holy crap. He comes, I'm watching, and you can see the lights because it tells you where they are and then it flickers the lights. He did it in 10 hours and 20 minutes. His first ever Ironman.
He had to be an athlete. He
was fifth in the overall in the Clydesdales, which is over 200 pounds, right? And that was his first one, and I was completely blown away because he ran a 3:06 marathon at the end of the Ironman.
Wow.
It was all your coaching, right, Mike? It was all your coaching. Did he give you out cards for you?
Chris,
It was.
can you keep up?
No, I don't know. No,
You know, Michael, I was on the bike ride one time, and I was on my second loop of the 56-mile ride doing the 112. And I see this gentleman in front of me, and I'm catching up to him, and I can tell he's a bit of an older guy. And as I pull up alongside, I look down because, we all have our ages written on our calves. I looked down, and the number on his calf was 85. And he was doing the full iron at 85.
Well, you guys
Rock star.
I'll tell you who is still my biggest. I'll tell you who's still my biggest hero is Dick Hoyt, who swims with his son, who he's in the dinghy, and then he pushes him on the bike. He sets him on the front of his bike, and then he pushes him in a run. Yeah. He just retired 3 years ago because it was the first time he never made it the time for the swim. So he basically said, "Hey, I guess that's them telling me it's time for me to kind of cut it off."
Amazing.
And I think he was 77 or 76, and he's still out there pulling his son and pushing his son. So I am going to
Talk about dedication.
I am not going to share what I was going to share because
Are those guys all NRF2 activated?
No, they need to be. Larry is, but
the body and the mind can do amazing things if you decide, if you make a decision.
Well,
and even in this business, right?
Yeah.
You got to get the mind straight and set your mind to it, and you can go for it. It's
funny you guys say that because my last two distributors that I signed up, I didn't even know they were signing up. One just signed up, a guy named Kevin who has a podcast. He actually said, I don't understand how you do this at 52 because I did a 52-mile bike ride on my birthday, my 52nd birthday. And the next morning I got up at 7 and went and did a 90-minute boot camp class at the gym. And he calls me and he says, "How do you do that?" I said, "Well, I couldn't have did it 9 years ago, taking 45 supplements a day and trying to eat healthy." I said, "There was no way." I mean, even at 42, I couldn't do those things, and I had aches and pains everywhere, and I'd wake up if I would have did a 52-mile bike ride 9 years ago, the next day I would have slept till noon.
Yeah.
And I would not have done anything, and I would have made Lisa's meals for work the night before, and then slept in till noon. So, guys, thank you so much. This has been awesome. It's been amazing how God works these things out. And I mean, even with Joanne and just everybody that has been on, you guys, I will say this, and Arthur and Kelly, I will share this with you guys. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but my call from last week, I had Dr. Goodman and I had Brian Dixon on a recording from the Elite call. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but
No.
You guys want to see it. And so I will post it and send it to you guys. I'll send it because I finally uploaded. I made it unlisted, so it's not public, so that only people who have the link can look at it. So like I said, guys, I will post that in our Freedom Fighters group, but I'll send it into you guys also too. But
I mean, you'll directly send it to
I'm going to directly send it to them.
Yeah.
I'll directly send it to you guys. So love you guys so much.
All right, you too, you guys. Miss you.
All right, love you guys. Hey guys, thanks for being on the call tonight. I appreciate you guys all so much. Everybody who gave value tonight and asked questions and made comments down. And guys, the chat box has been awesome. And like Chris just said, recovery is insane with these products. It is. It's why the long-term effects of this You know, Mike Weingarten and I talk about it all the time. I mean, we said, thank God somebody shared it with us as soon as they did, right? Like we don't know how we would feel. I can tell you this, I would not have be able to do the workouts I'm able to do. I tell Mike that all the time. I say, there's no way I would have done what I did on my birthday. And you know, I'm killing it right now. I'm in a process, and guys, I don't suggest anybody do this. I'm doing it for me to motivate myself. I told Mike this on a call about a week ago. I'm doing 90 minutes for 90 days, right? And why am I doing it? Not to, I mean, I'm almost down to a 6-pack, but I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it to challenge myself. I've been super intentional with my my daily action plan. I'm mapping out, guys, if you really want to build this business, next week I will go over those 12 things that I've been implementing. I met a guy today. Chris is going to like this. I met a guy today who is friends with Ray Higdon that I interviewed on my podcast. He gave me some insights on some things. So, you know, Kimberly just asked, I'm doing 90 minutes of exercise for 90 days, Kimberly. So that the most important thing is I'm doing that for me. So pick something that challenges you guys. Tomorrow's the last day of the month. Check your auto ships of all your team members and all of your customers. Trust me, you're going to want to do that because there's been some shipping orders and some issues with credit cards and stuff. So just spend a little bit of time tomorrow doing that, looking in your back office and doing that. And next week, all right, I'll tell you, I'm going to have Dr. Debbie Zito next week. So, and I'm going to go over these 12 steps of how to build relationships. It was Mitchell the whole time. It wasn't Kimberly. So it says Kimberly, but so thank you guys for listening. Guys, I hope that they inspired you like they just inspired me, because that was flipping awesome, right? Those two are two of my favorite people in Lifevantage. If that can encourage you to go take action and do some things, the comments down in here have been phenomenal tonight. Let's go finish up this last day of the month, and let's let it catapult us into the next part. Guys, thanks everybody for sharing. Chris, everybody, Julia, everybody that's been talking down, Q, everybody's been talking down in the chat box, Dee Dee, thank you guys. Love you guys. Have an amazing rest of your night. Bye-bye.